Do the aliens need to come teach us a lesson?
If you guys follow global news, in 2021, there seems to be a general feeling that America is in decline, or at least some sort of ditch, rut, negative situation that it needs to get itself out of ASAP.
Yes, the whole idea of America falling apart, you can see it on the mainstream media, you can see it online, and even if you ask people in person, they'll kind of generally agree. And depending on whatever news source you're getting it from, which most of them have an agenda themselves, they're always going to be blaming the other side.
Is America a country in decline?
Yes, it's lost. Like most of the whole world is lost.
I think so. Yeah.
Fully agree.
Now, what does exactly a decline mean? Some people even disagree that America is in decline. How steep is the decline? And what actually constitutes something going downside? Are we referring to the rise in crime, distrust in government, shrinking middle class and growing inequity, polarizing politics, racial tensions, failed international interventions, stagnant climate change initiatives, trouble at the border, police brutality, increased homelessness, rampant transitory inflation, out-of-touch leadership on both sides, opioid crises in blue-collar manufacturing towns? And that's not even the half. Listen, guys, every society around the world and every country has problems, and they've always had problems. But why does it seem like there's more problems in America now than there used to be?
But what can we actually do about all these problems in the world? I mean, there's a lot of people out there pitching solutions, some big, some small, some radical, some very, very simple. And you know, for us, we took our time and we did come up with some of our own kind of interesting solutions, but that only came about after talking to a number of people in New York City. So we did, and the first question we did ask them was just, what issues do you care about and why?
I guess one of the main social issues that I've cared about mostly is simply the police brutality in the black community, the way it's been raging lately, and it seems like the way it's been increasing, but honestly it hasn't increased. It's not just happening, it's nothing new, it's been happening for decades, for centuries.
Like what's going on like last year with like the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff. I live in the Bronx, so mostly like Latin and black community,
Yeah.
So that's why I was like,
Absolutely.
damn, bro, like I really got to get on and we got to push to like change this,
Probably like specifically like friends and family with mental health. Yeah.
I feel like this is a generic answer, but I guess the AAPI hate that happened during the global pandemic. I'm from a very predominantly white neighborhood, so it felt like a kind of topic that really hit close to home because I've always felt different, and then for the first time I really was I felt afraid of being different.
No, some topic is more sensitive, so I don't know.
No, just say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please don't hate Asians. We are beautiful people. Same as, all race.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I start to feel unsafe here this year for 2021.
Right. For the first time in America, you felt unsafe.
Yes. And I just hope that can be changed.
So as obvious or as cynical as it may sound, people care most about the issues that affect their life the most, and that's human nature and pretty understandable. It also complicates things in America because America is so diverse, so many different types of people, different origins, different identities, and different economic levels. So it seems like in order to make this world a better place, we're gonna have to start caring about issues that might not directly impact our lives, but the question is, how do we do that?
I think one misconception that I think we as people have is that, to love somebody means to agree with everything that they do, and that the opposite of that means to hate them, which is wrong. That is false. Just because you disagree with somebody does not mean you do not love them, and just because you disagree with somebody, it does not mean that you disrespect them. We have to learn the difference between love and hate, respect, disrespect, what those things mean. If we all just respect people for who they are and let people be what they want to be, our problem as a nation, and America in particular, is that we want everybody to be the same. We want everybody to think the same and have the same ideologies and philosophies, and we want people to conform, and that's not the case. If we let people be who they are, let people live the way that they want to live, we'll have a better world.
They say in NAAA, they say hugs, no drugs. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, especially if you're holding hands with a stranger for a common cause is good. But it's just like if we all meditate together to heal the world, and we pray for. You'll see, and it's been proven scientifically, if 1,000 of us was to meditate for a common cause, for maybe for child abuse or for whatever, you would see, or just crime to go down. You would see a drop in.
You're saying the vibration.
Yes, we're what are we? We are spirits having a physical experience. You know what I'm saying? And we vibrate on a different plane. And if we're not, and if our vibration is not right, then we're off sync.
I think being an empathetic person, I think that can be detrimental though. Like, I'd consider myself pretty empathetic. Anyone who works a job like we do has to be pretty empathetic, but caring about something bigger than yourself takes like selflessness and like empathy and being able to put yourself in their shoes.
Now, I think that there are a ton of ways to build empathy for each other. I mean, some people like to hold hands underneath a campfire at Joshua Tree. Other people like to do group therapy sessions. Other people like to travel the world and meet all these different types of people and accumulate all these stamps in their passports. I think that all those things could theoretically work, but I'm thinking of solutions for the average person that does not want to be stretched too far out of their regular comfort zone. I think most people are willing to be pushed a little bit, but not a lot. And I thought a lot about it, guys, and literally the best solution that the average person could do is to try other groups of people's food. Literally, guys, I'm not just saying that, you know, I know it sounds like self-serving because maybe we do that a lot on the channel, but I literally have been thinking about it a ton. And I truly believe that within the average person's ability to be stretched outside of their comfort zone, it is the absolute best thing you can do. I'm talking about watch a 5-minute video on people's cuisine, 5-minute video on people's history, and then just go to a restaurant in that authentic groups of people's neighborhood and just eat.
Do you think that, you know, in a world where I think more people need to build empathy for each other so that things can work better and we can all be at peace, do you think trying other people's cuisines from different cultures can help that?
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I think because you get to understand like the traditions and the cultures behind your friends and the people that surround you, and it's just like, it's very beautiful, and there's this deeper appreciation that you can have for them.
Awesome. Yeah, same question. You feel free to say.
Yeah, I think that, and also it can help connect you with, you know, the people of that culture as well at those restaurants or at those gatherings, and just kind of help you expand that way.
A lot of first-generation immigrants, they like build a business by starting a restaurant, and that's like how a lot of.
There's a big bumblebee behind you.
I didn't extract the yellow jacket, I swear. Hold on.
No, you're good, but I don't know. That's like usually what they first brought to America, and that was how people got to learn about their culture and who they are and how, and I think that's really the story of many first-generation immigrants, is starting a restaurant. So, I don't know, trying out the food, go to a place.
Yeah, I think being receptive, being open-minded and receptive to other people's culture, whether that is like food or, you know, their music or their shows, but also being willing to share that with others.
Yeah, I feel like if you've ever gotten a meal with someone, it's usually kind of like what you're saying. It's really easy to see how much you have in common. It's just like you sit down and you're like, it's like, oh, we both like always want rice with our meal. Like, that. That came off mad messy. But like.
I mean, a lot of people eat rice.
Yeah, it's just like, that's like one common thing. What else does everyone like? Yeah. I don't know, fruits?
I don't know. I mean, you just kind of get a different perspective. I mean, it's just understanding what you may think. You know what? Hey, I thought that food in particular tasted bad just based on my presumption or assumption or anything like that, or just making a judgment call. And then you try it, and you're like, oh, dang, like that was actually really good. I may open to try something else, or I don't know. I think food kind of is like a really good gateway to like building community or relationships in general. Honestly, everyone dines over food. You know.
I think for me personally, like traveling is one thing that kind of like opens up a lot of experience. And when I was out in Japan for 2 years, there was a spot, Coco's. I loved it. It was amazing. So it's the one place that I always like. It ties me down to that memory of being in a new place, you know, a new experience.
Yeah, I was telling him that when we got here to New York, there's stands everywhere, and the halal food was amazing. And that's what kind of opened my eyes, because back home we don't have access to it like I've seen here.
I think it builds empathy because I believe it opens up, you know, it opens up your mind to things. It opens up like, hey, like me, I'm Ethiopian, so whenever I go eat at a different place, the first thing I think is like home. You know, I'm used to being around a family setting, sitting around and opening that experience. I'm like, you know, how is this to my experience as, you know, Ethiopian dining, or, you know, when you're around a big pot of food. And the one thing somebody told me is if you're eating, people are eating, they're listening, and that is a great way to, you know, like when you have food in your mouth, you're not talking, your ears are open. You'll listen to people and their experience, and be like, hey, this is what happened to me, or, you know, this is where I had that experience. So I say yes, it does, because, you know, one thing that connects and unifies us all is music and food. That's what I believe in.
Bourdain really allowed you to explore curiosity into other people's culture, and that exploration led to understanding, and that understanding led to empathy. Like I said, guys, empathy does not mean that you fully agree with everybody else. That's just not the reality of it. Sometimes you're on this side of a coin, sometimes I'm on that side of a coin, but I still have to recognize this side of the coin's humanity.
So why does eating someone else's food build empathy? Well, think about it this way. Let's imagine you're hungry, okay? So you need something in your body, and food is vital to life. So you have to eat, okay? You need it for your soul, you need it for your brain, you need it for everything. So you're gonna go into maybe a ethnic enclave or an immigrant-owned restaurant, you know? This is their space, this is what they've built, they own this. This is probably their second home. You go in there, you sit down, and you order food. You're trying something that they made. You interact with them, and you're trading money for food that you need in your body. And you're gonna be putting that culture into your body. So think about it, as much as it is a transaction, it's also a deep interaction. And by the way, we all know eating food for some people, and at a certain time of the day, it can feel like a spiritual experience.
All right, you guys, we're at Samus Halal Cart on 6th and 4th. I've never been here before. This halal cart came highly recommended.
So we're gonna go check it out. We're gonna try some things maybe some dishes that we don't usually get, because I think everybody gets the falafel, the pitas, but you know what? We might get some fish. You know?
You're gonna get the fish over rice?
Yeah.
All right, you guys, we just got Sammy's Halal Cart. This is one of the most famous halal carts, I believe, in New York City. It's on every single list. This is my very first time having it. All this to say, guys, I really, really urge you. I know not everybody lives in New York City, not everybody lives in LA. People don't all live in major cities, but believe me, I'm sure there's been some place in your town that you have been ignoring or holding off going to. And not that you're a bad person for that, but I would just highly encourage, especially if it's from a region of people that you don't know much about or have crazy thoughts about, please just go and eat their food.
So I want to end the video with a call out. Now, if you're in the New York area and you understand a certain culture's cuisine very well and you want to be on video exploring it with us and explaining it to us, please let us know, hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking, because that is something that we want to do more of. And New York is such a diverse place. It is the most perfect place to do this type of video. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching that video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, click subscribe, share it with somebody. In the comments down below, let us know if you think America really is in decline. And if it is, what are the main issues we gotta think about? And also, can empathy solve it? So let us know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear other ways that people can build empathy easier, because, you know, at the end of the day, people are gonna do the things that are convenient. So if you make it convenient for people to change the world, hey, maybe the world will change. So everybody, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we out. Peace.
Yo, Andrew, Sammy's Halal food is one of my top 2 carts that I've ever had before in my life.
It is better than halal, guys. I say get the combo with chicken and beef.